All right, all right. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach and Nick Westbrooks. And before we get started, hit that like button, share with at least 5 people, and hit that subscribe and that notification bell on DJ the Money Coach channel on YouTube so you can help us spread the message of the Pom Pom Lifestyle movement, the movement that cannot be stopped. And if you're new here and you're wondering, what is the Pom Pom Lifestyle movement? The Pom Pom Lifestyle movement stands for plenty of money, peace of mind, and we invite you to come join us on what we call the Beaches of the World Club. And if you've been here for a while, you know our beach is Zanzibar, but each and every Friday we take you to a philosophical, a mental beach, a beach that consists of principles that we all should live by. Financial principles, family principles, values. And tonight's beach, we are continuing our 5th year anniversary celebration. We're continuing to honor DJ stewards. And we're also going to be talking about the 5-day wealth challenge. And you'll hear more about that when our special guest joins us a little bit later in the show. But as you can see, DJ's in a great mood on this Friday. So DJ, talk to the people. Tell them how you feeling.
Hey, Nick, like I always say, any day above ground with your health is a great day, baby. And today is extremely a great day. You know, I'm in a great mood. It's 86 degrees outside. The sun's out. You know, I got a fresh cut. I'm in great shape. Man, family's doing well. Man, dude, things are rocking and rolling. The momentum is happening in the 7 spheres of money. And the Pom Pom Lifestyle, baby, couldn't be better. So that's what we're excited about on this amazing April 25th, 2025, man. So we're excited, man. So, I mean, shout out to everybody out there. Thank you for supporting us for 5 years. We appreciate everything that you have, participated in with us just from watching the show. We appreciate it. And what we're going to do this year, we're going to ask our people to step up to the challenge and not only do a 5-day wealth challenge, but we're going to ask them, hey, let's get us to 5K. Let's get to 5K subscribers. You know, I'm not ever really pushing that, but the more and more I think about it, you know, how do we help people if we don't reach out and help other people? So if you are getting down with the message, share it with somebody else. You know, just like that Vidal Sassoon commercial. I'm dating myself. You share with one friend, they share with one friend, and so on and so on and so on. And it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, that now that we start standing on principles, godly principles, because our community has become the joke and the butt of all jokes. What do I mean? We have raced to the bottom. And as long as you make money, it's good. You can rob, steal, pillage, everything, but you making money, you're good. All money ain't good money. And it's really time for people who have principles, who follow God, family, and business in that order, that are morally, ethically, you know, on point, to step up and be accounted for, man. Because we're at the bottom. There's a passage in the Bible that says, sooner or later, what's good will become bad, and what's bad will become good. We're in those days right now. But the great thing is, we can stop it. We can put our foot down and change the narrative. Real talk. So why not stand up and be accountable to dignity, self-dignity, self-respect, and stop subscribing to this garbage out there? I mean, do you want our community to always be known as the host for the parasites for the toilets of the world? Of course we don't. But if I was coming down from Mars and I was an alien or an extraterrestrial, and I came down here to this earth and I saw how a certain group of people were behaving, I would think that they were animals. Even if I knew what a human being was, I would think that they were animals. And matter of fact, I would think that they were lower than animals based on their behavior. And right now, man, you can go from the US to Africa to Europe to Indonesia, and the first thought they have about our people is we're just clowns, court jesters. And as long as I can borrow your culture, which is dancing, stepping, and fetch it, and the latest dance and the latest TikTok, they have no regard and no respect for us. But you can stop that. But hey, they say when you're in a recession, people live vicariously through entertainment and alcohol. Now, people are living vicariously through entertainment, alcohol, gambling, and illicit sex. And because America is a capitalistic country, we have taken stuff that is immoral, that's been legalized, like gambling, like prostitution, and we say, hey, it's legal, so do it. That's the fine line that we walk in our community. And here's the funny thing about it. Even numbers wise, we're still not the ones committing all these immoral acts. However, we don't own these platforms, and the way to make money for the owners of these platforms is to showcase the worst degenerative clown minstrel show, because all they're interested in from an economic standpoint is eyeballs. If I get the eyeballs and I can sell advertisement, that's all I'm concerned about. I don't care if you commit incest, pedophilia, bestiality, robbing, stealing. But if the government has legalized it and you putting on a great buffoon show and you have 1 million subs, all I care about, what's the demographic on the power that they can spend money? That's really where we are now. And then we, as a community, we get at a pass because first thing come out of somebody's mouth. Here's the sad reality about our community. We're not a monolith. However, we are predictable in our capping and endorsing garbage. What do I mean? We have been so brainwashed by one party. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a 3-pronged stool, okay? 3-pronged stool. Here's how it works. So what led us up to this? And here's the thing. There has to be accountability for everything that we do. We're not giving anybody a pass. We're not giving me a pass. We're not giving Nick a pass. We're not giving women a pass. We're not giving a pass. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. Was like, oh, you're giving a no. I said, I'm not giving a pass. But let me give you 3 institutions that have led up to this acceptance of garbage. Okay? Now, one goes back to how we got here. I'm not going to mention it, but you know what I'm talking about. You would think that our history began with, the rapist Christopher Columbus. As if we didn't have any history prior to the advent of the United States of America. Well, I mean, we're the original man and original woman. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. So that means we go back before Jesus Christ. So that's 10, 15,000 years. Okay. The second one is very pervasive. It's called the religious institutions. I want y'all to think about this. Religious institutions. Do you know what the job of religion was from the Caucasian perspective when they went and wanted to dominate a new territory? Nick, tell them. What did they do that they wolves in sheep clothing, baby? Wolf in sheep clothing. Trust me when I tell you this. What did they, because you're a history major, right?
Yeah, well, English, but I know a little bit about this history. You know, I've read a little bit about it in literature. I read about it in the novel Things Fall Apart by that Nigerian author when he talked about when the missionaries came to the Nigerian village. So they on the surface they came in peace, but they ended up taking over everything. They took over the land, they took over the government, they put their people in place. You know, they had a few choice people that they selected to put into positions of power to make them feel good and also to make the rest of the people stay in their position, to see that they had their own people that were still empowered. They did a divide and conquer. You know, they got some of our own people to go against others of our own kind and nation. They bowed their head and told us to close our eyes and let us pray. And when we opened our eyes, they had our land and we had their religion.
And guess what? See, here's the sneaky part. They send them in. We're here to help. Because see, sometimes you can just conquer people by sheer force. Mm-hmm. But when their numbers are much bigger than yours, you got to go a different route. Oh, we're going to bring in God and health. And since to us, you're like, animals, we're going to come with gifts of God, gifts of better health care. So they purposely send missionaries into new territories that they want to dominate, give some little fake gifts, and ease you up, and then come and take over you. And that's prevalent in every third world country that anybody has dominated from the British Empire. Have you ever thought, how is it that the pound, the currency, is always more expensive than the US dollar when the world has been run by the US dollar since 1972? How is it that their money is always worth more than our money? I bet you never even thought about that. That used to baffle me, man, when I was in high school and college. I was like, wait a minute. We're the number one institution on the planet, and why is the American dollar less than the British pound? The euro. But then when I got into finance and I understood why, because the British Empire, just like we did a piece on that fake queen who passed away last year, whenever it was, when everybody was applauding them because they had Stockholm syndrome, we showed you all the lands and territories that they conquered. And even when they gave them back, they had treaties with them that they still had to pay them money. So their reach is still more powerful than force. So all of these countries that have had missionaries come in and start educational systems, you see, so that's the third one. The first one is, I'm not going to name it because y'all know what I'm talking about, how we got here. The second one is the religious system. And the third one is their educational institutions. Think about that. I want you to let that seep in for a minute. Show me any country that looks like us that have not been impacted by those three institutions since the dawn of time. And why did we bail them out in World War II? Because we looked at them, even though we broke away from them in the Boston Tea Party, we still looked at them as, hey, that's our grandparents. So we got to bail them out from Germany. Really? But you said you came over here to get free from them. But what you don't realize is they came over here with their worst people. They didn't come over here with the king, the queens, the duchess, and the dukes and all that. They came over here with their hoes, they pimps, and they hustlers. Hey, correct me when I'm wrong, baby. Correct me when I'm wrong. And then when they conquered you, they got you locked into the vices, the liquor, and the sex. Because we were kings, literally, and queens in Africa. We weren't peasants and serfs and sharecroppers. And we were very giving and helping people, so we didn't see them as a threat. But because we don't understand that Africa is a continent and not a country, and inside of the continent, they lived in a tribal community from the beginning of the top of the continent to the bottom of the continent. So I didn't look at somebody from Tanzania with somebody from Ghana as my brother and sister. I looked them as a tribe against my tribe. So when a paleface came across and offered you some stuff, and all you had to do is go capture a couple of them cats, hey, they helping me eliminate that tribe. Can I keep it a buck with you? Now, mind you, let me tell you this. I love everybody. Because obviously, guess what? I didn't get this, fair complexion by accident. Let's keep it a buck, baby. Let's keep it a buck. Right? Yeah. So when you want to cause confusion and you want to cause animus inside a community, you pair people against themselves. What's the easiest way? Class and color in education. So I give, the fair complexion person better treatment because guess what? Good old, Massa, well, no Massa of mine, but Massa was knocking the mammy and had illegitimate children like Thomas Jefferson. And now he started treating them with favor. And now instead of you work in the field, you work in the house. And you get favor, and you get favor so much so, you let them know, hey, if you let us know what's going on with them, I'm going to treat you even better. And just by happen chance, them are the Hugh and Nick. And me, I'm the Hugh closest to the Massa. Not by purpose, not by intent. That's just what happened. These are facts, baby. So again, these three institutions have caught up to us now that we've gone totally away from God. But these are the three institutions from the dawn of time. The institution that got us here, their, savvy, pervasive version of God, their religion, and then their educational system. And then to make you deal with the pain, they gave you libations and freaky sex. And you're probably saying, what does that got to do with family finances? What's that got to do with a 5-day wealth challenge? Well, it has a lot to do with it. Because right now, in a recession, you have been indoctrinated to live vicariously through entertainers and sports. And now you're living vicariously through influencers on these platforms. So they change one court jester for another one. You see how that works? Because the children and the millennials and stuff, they don't follow the movie stars. They follow their favorite influencer, their favorite streamer, their favorite gamer. The people in my group, in the generation right after me, they follow their favorite commentary, political pundit on these platforms. So now, hey, we're not putting the athlete way up there. Hey, we putting the politician, the influencer, the gamer, and the streamer for one reason. Do re mi, baby. Do re mi. Now, the majority of the influencers and the entertainers have a low level of education. Now, that's not, I didn't say all. I said the majority. And what do I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen? I mean that what's the easiest way to come out of a financial situation is to what? Hustle. Get the bag. Because if I have to go through a parochial school, go to a college, what does it cost? Do re mi. And if I didn't come from the right side of the tracks, I don't have do re mi to pay for parochial school, private school, college. But if I can hop on this platform, get myself a TikTok, it costs me nothing. Get myself a YouTube, it costs me nothing. Get myself a Twitch, it costs me nothing. Whatever the new platform that's created, all I got to do is have a smartphone and an internet connection. And now all I got to do is entertain people. Because there's no regulation. There's no certification. All I got to do is make sure you come on my show and like, sub, and subscribe and figure out the algorithm. And once I figure out the algorithm and I start attracting you, the sponsors, hey, you got 500,000 subs. Don't care what you're selling. Don't care what you're talking about. What's the age and the demographic? Oh, 18 to 34, that's the number one demographic. They may not have the most money, but they typically can influence the people who brought them into this world to give them money for discretionary spending. Correct me when I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Correct me when I'm wrong. And then you as the parent, you say, oh, you just made $10,000 on YouTube, IG, TikTok. Oh, mind you, you're out here buck dancing, looking at underage children, or you're scamming people, or you're jumping off of rooftops, breaking your leg, but people are subscribing. It don't matter. Because it's not illegal. It's unethical. It's immoral. Degenerate. Hey, guess what now? That child tells the parent, you're not the boss of me. You are not the boss of me. So if you don't have a strong backbone, like a real man, and say, hey, guess what? You may be making $10,000 a month, but guess what? I'm your parent. And if you can't be respectful of me and your mother, hit the bricks. But see, problem is, mom and dad or single parent, grandparent, they need that do re mi from them. So now they reverse the roles. And they let their dignity and respect go out of the door, no different than somebody selling crack. It's just like in one of my favorite movies, New Jack City. That old elder guy says, your time gonna come, Nino Brown. And then eventually at the end, Nino Brown gets off, gets the lawyers, and is like, hey, man, I love the justice system. And then guess what? The elder says, Nino Brown, your soul is wanted in hell, my brother. But very few of us stand on principles. So I'm going to get off my soapbox because I see our special guest is right on time, like, professionals are. So we want to get ready to introduce him. But I want y'all to let that seep in, because here's the deal. I can do all that stuff. I can do the step and fetch it, the bamboozle, the buffoonery, but I ain't built like that. You can't walk up to me and give me $5 million and go buck dancing. I'm going to go, start trying to talk to a 19-year-old girl. Nah, not on this watch. Because see that name on the back of the jersey? I don't want my 12-year-old, my 16-year-old daughter to be like, wow, Dad, what's gotten into you? Nah, we're not going out like that. So without further ado, y'all catch all that stuff on the way home. We want to introduce our amazing new partner to the Seven Spheres of Money family, and we're joining their amazing family called Wealth Wednesdays. And we want to introduce to you this amazing business owner, but first and foremost, amazing man of God, a married man to one amazing woman, and has some beautiful children that he's teaching them, just like I used to teach my children about God, family, and business, and doing a phenomenal job. And also has an amazing partner that's doing a tremendous job in the financial sector, as well as a powerful, Black woman as well. So I want to introduce you guys this amazing gentleman named Sayam Ibrahim from the amazing organization with Wealth Wednesdays, which they do an amazing show with the phenomenal Stacey Tisdale. Welcome to the platform, my brother.
Thanks for having me on, man. That was an awesome introduction, man. I appreciate that. I see you doing big things, man. I'm happy to contribute and be a part of it.
Absolutely. And Sam is such a great guy. I actually literally hit him up last minute today, a couple of hours ago, asked him to come on the show. Yeah. And thank goodness to him that he was able to pull himself away from his family. Because I'll be honest, when somebody hits me up last minute like I did you, I probably don't answer the call. That don't make me a hypocrite, but y'all get where I'm coming from. So this gentleman is amazing. So let us tell you, we been looking out on the landscape, ladies and gentlemen. We were looking at how we can add more value to our community and have the ability to reach people in all demographics, all age groups, from children to men to women to married couples that are trying to get their financial house in order. And we were fortunate to reach out and meet his partner, Stacey Tisdale, which you guys look her up. She's phenomenal. I mean, she's a who's who, down-to-earth person that knows more about money than I know, which is very rare. But here's the beautiful thing. When somebody comes up and has got better knowledge, better experience than me, I immediately become the student. I don't have no ego and I don't have a problem, taking, direction from people who are living the walk principally. So what we decided to do, we're going to do this 5-day wealth challenge that they've been doing. And we wanted to bring them on the show and talk about how it can benefit our community and some of the things that we're doing around the globe. So if we can do this, hey Sam, just tell us, about your amazing background. Tell us a little bit about, your family, if you want, whatever you want to share with us, and what the things you're excited about. And then let's talk about this 5-day wealth challenge here at the last week and a half of Financial Literacy Month.
Yeah, man. Look, I didn't come from, family that was real estate investors, right? My father's from Ethiopia, my mother's from Dominican Republic, and they came to the United States with no money. My dad said he had $10 and a banana in his pocket when he got here. Right? So he came with no money, and he was a yellow cab driver in New York City for 21 years. All right. And but they both had hard work ethic. They both had a dream of home ownership and living the American dream. And they're perfect examples of it because, I grew up in the Lower East Side of New York as a kid. Through the hard work, my mother was a hairstylist and a babysitter. Through their hard work, they were able to save a little bit of money. They moved us to Jersey where they bought their first house. All right. And my dad started his first small business. And, and extremely hard worker. Now, fast forward a little bit, I remember when I was in high school and stuff like that, and I wanted to go out and play ball. I wanted to go out and hang out with my buddies. And they were like, nah, read a chapter first, right, in this book, and then you can go out. And at the time I started crying. I hated it. I was like, man, Dad, you're the worst. This is horrible. Right? But I understand now what he was trying to do. Right, because it allowed me to graduate from high school. I got a full scholarship, a Jackie Robinson Scholar, right, at Georgetown University, and then I went to, eventually virtually work on Wall Street, where I thought my life was perfect. I thought that's what I wanted long term, right, because I was making six figures, but I worked 80, 100 hours a week. All right, so I made great money, but had no time to spend it. And some of y'all listeners probably can relate to that, right, where you making good money on paper, but you're literally a slave to corporate America. And so, something happened. I'm married to my wife, beautiful, amazing woman, Nicole, and I wanted to get married at the time. And I gave my boss 3 months heads up notice. And I said, I'm going to take 2 weeks off because I'm going to get married. I got a honeymoon plan to Hawaii and all this stuff. We're going to turn it up. Right. And he says, yeah, no problem. The week before my wedding, he tells me, hey, I know you put in a request for 2 weeks, but you think you can reschedule your wedding? We're really busy now. Yeah, we're really busy.
Get out of here.
No lie, brother.
Wow.
Right now. I mean, I got family coming from all over the country, from DC, from Chicago, from Boston. I mean, I even had my grandmother coming from DR, right? So I was like, you expect me to tell everybody to cancel their flight, right? What? I got the venue rented. I got the caterers there. So it was a pivotal moment for me because I said, you know what? I'm going to quit this cold turkey. I don't want to spend the next 20 years of my life living to work. I want to work to live. Right. And so I quit cold turkey, not knowing what I was going to do. My dad practically disowned me, told me I gave up every chance of becoming a millionaire. Right. Because I thought corporate America, Wall Street was going to take me there. And, for a year, he didn't talk to me, didn't know what I wanted to do. And eventually my brother found a house in Newark, New Jersey for $45K, beat up home. I mean, the day we bought it, they stripped the copper. Right. To give you an idea, but it's surrounded by pretty houses. Right. And so he's like, yo, we need to buy this. I was like, well, how are we going to get the money for this? What are you going to do? He's like, I don't know. We got to figure out, put in contract and let's figure it out. So we put in contract. He got a title loan on his car. I did credit card cash advances. I went all in on this thing. Right. And we closed it. And then we said, all right, now we got to rehab it. So then we went and I found out about something called hard money. Right. And so we put the money out to rehab it. And we made $60,000 on that deal. And we were like, oh man, I'm in love. Right. I just made 60 grand on this house. What if I do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year? Right. I don't need to be a slave to corporate America. So, and that's a long story short, fast forward a couple of years, I've been in the business now for 15 years. I've done about 1,400 real estate deals. And I've purchased over $250 million in real estate, and we built a rental portfolio of about 600 doors today. So, on this 5-day challenge, it's literally a boot camp about everything real estate. Right. So it's going to be an immersion. If you ever thought about investing in real estate, if you ever thought that you wanted to try it, if you ever, had an inclination that you want something more than what you currently got, you need to be there. And it's 5 days. We're going to learn how to analyze deals. We're going to talk about how to maximize your credit to get funding. We're going to talk about how to get funding. I'm even going to bring my private lender that's funded millions of dollars in deals, right, for me, live to that challenge. And I'm going to introduce them to everybody who's there so they can also borrow from this private lender. All right. We're going to go over how to analyze, fix and flips, rental properties, the Burr method to build a rental portfolio with little money out of pocket long term. And we're going to actually analyze real live deals together. All right. And do a deal or no deal scenario. So you guys can learn how to analyze properties. And guess what? If some of y'all like those properties, you can actually close your first deal live in that challenge and buy those properties. All right. So now you get into theory, you get a property you can put into practice, actually get to work right away. And then for those that are, VIP members that join the VIP and get a VIP ticket, we have a bonus day on Friday, which is all about maximizing and getting huge returns, investing in commercial real estate. So it literally, we dab into a lot of different pieces so you can get a taste if it's something that you want. And if it's not, all good. I love you anyway, right? Move on, no problem. But if it is, all right, you've got exposure and you can go hit the ground running and go all in.
Oh man, dude, that's a lot. And obviously I know everything you're talking about, but so funny thing, Sam, is that a lot of times in our community, we look at people's income, and let's say, you got a family you met and they make $250,000, and just because they own a house in Harlem, they got $1 million net worth, but technically they would be if they made that for 2 straight years and $1 million net worth, they will be considered an accredited investor, right?
Absolutely.
But they really aren't if they never done deals before.
That's right.
So what we have to understand through financial literacy is that everybody's not created equal, even though they may look equal on paper. And I always share with people this. I say attorneys, accountants, financial planners are not created equal. Just because somebody got a certified financial planner destination does not mean they know how to do high-level estate planning. Just because they have a law degree doesn't mean they're a real estate lawyer. They might be a chasing ambulance lawyer.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing I'm excited about is that since we has been so invested in, getting Zanzibar, off the ground, we've gotten away from the core real estate transactions in the United States and, the surrounding, Caribbean islands, which you guys do at the highest level. And I don't think you guys heard, he said he's done over 1,400 deals and the tune of $250 million in revenue. That's huge.
Yes, sir.
That's 1% category. And he looks like us. Yeah, so man. Why would we not bring this amazing guy on the platform? And then if you see his IG and he's teaching his young daughters about financial literacy, really buying assets like Robert Kiyosaki says, and they breaking down man, I was like, man, I remember I used to do that about 6 years ago with my children. So I couldn't get nothing but be excited, brother. So what we want to do, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. We're going to pull up the 5-day challenge, tell them what the dates are. We're going to get this free. I'm not even going to steal the thunder. So you're watching Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach, the 5-day wealth challenge with Sayam Ibrahim. And what's the name of your organization, Sam? I know it, but I can't recall it off the top of my head. I'm having a senior moment.
Hero Homes U, right? And Hero Homes U partner with Wealth Wednesday to deliver it to the community, right? So Angela Yee, Stacey Tisdale are our partners, and we looking to bring it to our community and help bridge the wealth gap, right? By $100 million with our group. So hopefully, in the next couple of years, be able to achieve that and show people that everyone can buy real estate. It's not only for the people with a lot of money. It's not only for the people with the perfect credit. It's not only for people that, are doing it full time. You can do it on the side as a side hustle and supplement your income, right? And eventually that supplement can replace your income, right? So, we show you all the strategies and we show it from an operator's perspective, all right? Not from theory, but from what we do in our business all day, every day, twice on Sunday. So all you got to do is copy what we're doing and what we're showing, and you'll get those same results.
Nick, are you not seeing a lot of similarities between us? Quick job, cold turkey. I have a saying, hey, 7 days a week, twice on Sundays. We have never talked.
That's right. That's right.
But here's the great thing. We're about to take a break real quickly. But check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this. I never bring anybody on my platform that don't have license and proven track record. What's the difference between people on social media? Most of them, unfortunately, they come from a hustle capacity and don't have license in these areas, but because they run themselves out of, a bad situation and start making money, people start following them. And there's no regulatory restraints for them. Both Sayam and I, we used to be regulated by the SEC.
That's right.
Because he had securities license. I had securities license. We used to always there's a thing called outside business practices. If you are in the financial service industry and you are regulated by the SEC and FINRA, even if I bought myself a house, I have to tell them. Am I not correct about that?
100%. 100.
But that guy that you see on these platforms that is flipping homes and never had a license, there's no, boundary that can stop him from taking advantage of you personally. But for us, there is. So you're never going to find somebody that we bring on our platform, don't have license, have not been in the industry 10, 15 years, and track record with Fortune 500 companies. Let me say that again. Track record with Fortune 500 companies. I say this is what separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls, because guess what? I've done business with Chase Bank. No, I didn't go deposit a check in their account. I wrote curriculum for them. This gentleman right here, when we come back from the break, he's going to tell you who he used to work for, and then we're going to explain the platform, and we're going to get down the road. So we're about to come right back. And you know how we do this. We're going to run our own spots. That's right. We run commercials by us, for us, with us. Ain't nothing on this platform that we talk about. If we don't own it, you will never be promoted by it. So we'll be right back at these words from our sponsors, which are us, like you. We're going to give you a master training, 3-hour course, 2 consultations. We're going to teach you how to build credit up to $100,000 interest-free for 18 months. Pay off your home in 7 to 10 years. And most importantly, create $8,333 a month in passive income. It's a $997 course. You get it all today for $97. Hit that link and beat me to the master training.
The Biz Lounge is redefining the concept of workspaces by incorporating state-of-the-art technology with ergonomic designs in a space to foster creativity and productivity.
It's not just a workspace. This is a dynamic ecosystem designed for growth, inspiration, and connection.
We'll see you at the Biz Lounge.
All right, and we're back. We're back to Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach and Nick Westbrooks and our special guest, Sayam Ibrahim, representing Wealth Wednesdays and the 5-day Wealth Challenge. Let's get back into it and hear more about what he has to offer to our people.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're going to now let Sam tell us more about his company. Tell us real quickly about your corporate background, because it's very impressive, so people can see the difference between people who are real and people who get, fortunate just to make money out of hustling. Nothing wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen, but there has to be accountability and there has to be regulatory, governments that can oversee when something happens, even if it's just a mistake. Like in the insurance world, there's a thing called E&O, errors and omission insurance, because we're all human, and then there's insurance on the security side that you have to have, or just like if you're a medical doctor, you have to have malpractice insurance. But somebody who's just on this platform who's flipped 100 houses and made $20 million, they don't even have to be a real estate broker. Facts. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to you, my brother, and tell them a little bit about your corporate background. Then let's go into the name again of your organization, how this works, and how we're excited about working together on the 5-day challenge, and then what we're going to be doing together collectively across the globe.
Yeah, man. So when I went to work on Wall Street, I worked for one of the biggest companies on Wall Street. It's a company called Goldman Sachs, right? And they are known to have pay great, but they will work the crap out of the people that work for them, right? So when I did the math, it's great because you're making 6 figures. But when you do the math, you could be a manager at Walmart and make more money, right? So, on an hourly basis. So, like I said, on paper, everyone wants it, everyone's good. And maybe if I stayed there for 20 years, I'd make 7 figures, right? But it just wasn't a lifestyle for me. I remember hearing my boss having to cancel for his kid's birthday, right? Because he had to go on a client meeting, and I'm like, man, this is not the life I want, right? So I quit cold turkey and decided to be my own boss, man. I fired my boss, left the company, and everyone told me I was crazy, but I think now it's definitely worth it. I'm literally coming to you live right now from Cabo, Mexico. All right, came here with my wife, and we're at a mastermind because even though I've been doing this for years, I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning, and I'm educating people while I'm here as well.
Let me interject real quickly. Did y'all hear what he said? He's in Cabo, but he's there for a mastermind. I was just telling a client yesterday about why aren't you renewing your executive membership with us? I said, all the people at the top 1%, they have coaches and training and conferences that they continue to go to so they can stay in the 1%.
That's right.
Back to you, my brother.
Yeah, man. So let me share. Let me go to open up the sheet and let me share it with you.
Absolutely. Allow him to share the screen, Nick. Yeah, that is awesome. And you can't make the money and then expect it to be sustainable if you're not continuing to educate yourself and get around people in higher zip codes and comma brackets.
That's right. 100% accurate, man. So here, this is our Wealth Wednesdays Real Estate Club. So, in the bottom of this podcast, we're going to share the link so you can access it and you can join. It's 100% free to join the community. And when you're there in the community, you'll be able to see other people ask questions. You'll be able to ask questions. You're going to get access to our masterclass that we do, where it's live 2-hour training where we're showing you how to get deals, how to fund deals, and how to actually get to the closing table. You get access to our free mini ebook where it's all about our millionaire funding program. So you actually figure out how to fund deals, right? We teach you a whole mindset class. It's all about how you approach things. If you approach everything with the negative attitude, you are much less likely to achieve it. Right? I heard a phrase one time from the Dalai Lama. It says, "If you believe you can, if you believe you can't, you're right." Right? And we try to show y'all to attack everything with a positive attitude, and you get a million times better results, right? We get access to our deal calculators, which you use to analyze thousands of deals. So you know the numbers going into the deal and not figure out after the deal what the profit is, all right? You get access to the community, like I mentioned, and you get templates and documents and contracts. So you don't have to figure that all out on your own, all right? Click the link that DJ is sharing in the comments and get access to the community. I can assure you, your future self is going to thank you.
Man, that is amazing. And you know what the funny thing is? We actually met you guys on a sliver, literally, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. Here's, the real about being an entrepreneur. Okay, I've been an entrepreneur since 1998, so I might be dating myself, but I've been blessed. I've got good genes, but I take good care of myself. But here's the point, though. I haven't had a boss, since 2002. I'm going to say that again, ladies and gentlemen. But I have made it through 4 pivoting catastrophic financial situations in my lifetime. All right. So let me take you back, give you a history lesson. The first one was, 1999. 1999, they thought that the 99 was not going to go to 0, and they literally called it the Y2K. They thought everything was going to fall out the sky and everything like that. So the stock market took a hit. So that's one. My business at the time was a cleaning company, White Glove Immaculate Services. We actually went up in value because I was servicing high-end people on the Gold Coast of Chicago, which is where I'm from. All right. That's one. The second one was the Great Recession, 2008. All right. So in 2008, my high school friend, Clarence, who is an engineer working for HP doing the Ford project in Detroit, he and I began a company, Great Lakes Property Management, which was his company. I had a financial planning company, and we would actually go buy homes at the auction in Detroit and buy those houses. So from 2006 to 2008, we're buying all these houses. I was a hard money lender. I got in the mortgage business because I was doing hard money. And then we asked the guy we was giving hard money deals to, hey, man, how about you give us some clients? Hey, I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. I'm sitting across the table from a white boy in Southfield, Michigan, and he's probably 10 years younger than me, and he just laughed at us. He's like, I'm not giving you no business. And I'm doing a calculation in my head. I'm like, damn, we done did like 10 deals with this dude. And this hard money is running us per deal like 15 racks. And all I did is ask him, hey, man, could you refer somebody to rent our cribs? Clarence is sitting to my right. The white boy sitting right in front of me. I said, oh, Clarence, let's get up and go. Clarence like, what are you talking about? I said, that's the last time that dude gonna get our money. He's like, well, man, we don't have no bank. I said, yeah, we'll figure it out, bro. I got up from the table. I made a phone call to the people who would do the refinances, the regular traditional. And I said, look, I understand you are a mortgage banker, not a mortgage broker. And since we're putting our deals from the hard money to you to refinance and get our money out, part of that BRRRR program, I say, look, I'm going to give you all my business. And we got to figure out how you can do hard money lending for us. And they was like, oh, yeah, we can do that. I said, but here's the caveat. You're going to pay me just like we were paying them. They said, oh, there's no way legally to do that unless you're an owner with us. I said, well, guess what? You just found yourself a partner. It's like, we're not interested in that. I said, okay, so we just did 10 deals in like 6 months. And again, we just gave y'all about 200 grand. I said, and we're growing. And I said, my calculation says I have an accounting background, tells me that we're going to do about 40 more deals by the end of the year. I said, so conservatively, we're talking about $400 to $1 million possibly. I said, so I'll just take that business somewhere else. Long story short, I became a minority owner in their business. On 5%, I became the hard money lender.
I love it. I love it, man.
Did all the deals.
I love it. You keep it all in-house, man, if you can, right? I'm going to hop off in a few minutes because my wife is waiting for me downstairs, but I just want to leave the audience with one last thing, guys, right? You will get the link to join the community, right? If you ever thought that real estate's for you, you need to be there, right? It's free. It's the cheapest it's ever going to be to learn about real estate investing, all right? And a mentor of mine once said, the quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it, right? And real estate is the best vehicle to get you to your dream life, all right? It's the best way to become financially free. And DJ knows this firsthand. He was doing real estate for years, right? That real estate investing. I mean, look, he's investing in Zanzibar right now. That's real estate, right? Just by getting the game and owning real estate, you will change your financial future. I hear people say, I'm going to wait till interest rates drop. We don't know if that's going to happen. And historically, every 10 years, real estate tends to double. In the short term, you have these little dips. But if you look at the last 100 years, every 10 years, real estate tends to double. So why wait? All right. I hear people say, I'm going to wait till my credit's right. That's the wrong way of looking at it. Use the profits from real estate to get your credit right. All right. So if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, jump off. And I'll see you guys in the community and see you guys at the masterclass and challenge. But I want y'all to all do me one more favor, though. Don't meet me there, guys. Beat me there. All right. Because it's not going to be available at this price forever.
The masterclass is Wednesday?
Wednesdays, yes. Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Central?
Eastern time.
7 p.m. Eastern. And that one's going to be free, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Nick, can you pull that up again? Hey, Sam, thank you. And thank your wife for allowing you to come on. Because if I'd have known you in Cabo, I wouldn't even have asked. Man, you are winner, leader, and a shepherd, brother. And enjoy your conference and your workation. And I'll talk to you when you get back. Thanks for coming on the show. And man, we are excited, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you having me on, guys. Everyone have a great day and enjoy your weekend.
Hey, guys. Hey, Goldman Sachs, 1,400 deals, over quarter of a million, $250 million worth of revenues generated over 1,400 deals. I want you to look him up. Look up his company. Look up Stacey Tisdale. Nick, matter of fact, if you can pull up Stacey's website, because we want to show you that we rolling and we're going to bring you the best of the best. But right now, this is free. Next Wednesday is April 30th. That's the last day of the month. That ends the National Financial Literacy Month. So register. It's free. What better can I do for you other than FREE? But most importantly, we're bringing you the 1% access. But they say God cannot steer a parked car. So get in gear, hit that link, and get into that free master class because I'll be there. Guess what? I'm going to be mentored by Sayam. That's right. Because he's doing more business than I'm doing. And he's younger than me. But age don't matter. And so another thing is we're going to be doing international deals together. So we're going to bring you guys. They're coming along. They're going to put our Zanzibar project in their portfolio. And we're also going to make their project in the DR available to our people who are members. As my mentor, Dr. George Fraser, says, hey, membership requires investment. So first, we give you free so you can kick the tires. And then when you realize the tires are real, thank you very much. Then you invest in the premium tires that you want. So on next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central, you will be live but Sayam Ibrahim and Stacey Tisdale and their Wealth Wednesday program is phenomenal. Best in class. So we want to give you something on our 5th year anniversary that is priceless, but can change the narrative for generations to come if you apply the 4x4 principles. And as I was about to say, this all happened on a sliver, ladies and gentlemen. And what I wanted to get back to real quickly is we went through the recession. We made it through the pandemic. And now we got the tariffs. So that's Y2K, the Great Recession, the pandemic, and the tariffs. I think I'm missing one. If I'm not mistaken, I'm missing one, Nick. I'm missing one. No, I'm missing one.
You got, did you say 9/11 was one?
9/11. Yep. So Y2K was 1999 December to January. Made it through there. 9/11. Made it through there. Actually, my business has grown through every catastrophic event. It's not that we planned it that way, but we have built a great foundation that enabled us to position ourselves properly to take advantage of the negative aspect of regular business where the wealthier get wealthiest in catastrophic events. So Y2K, 9/11, the Great Recession, the pandemic, and now the tariffs. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that in those first 4, our business and our partners' business grew by 20 to 40% every time. Let me explain to you why. Here's why. Nick, do me a favor. Pull up my original website. And let me show you how this works. Okay? So, 2 things are always going to be true as it pertains to building wealth. How do the wealthier get wealthy? Cash and credit. Cash and credit. So what happens in catastrophic events to businesses in real estate? They go down in price. And now those people who are having that catastrophic impact on them, they now are incentivized because they need cash. So they have to get out of properties and business that they are upside down in. What happened during the pandemic in New York? All of those commercial big buildings in Manhattan were empty because the government shut everybody down. But you know what wasn't empty? They still had to pay those triple net leases. So that wealthy person came along and said, hey man, your building used to cost $100,000. It's now $10,000, but you got to still pay that $100,000 bill, the taxes, the HOA, and yada, yada. Let me help you out. I got cash in the form of credit and money. And if you will give me that building for $30,000, I'll give you 30,000 racks right now. And you may not believe this. Most of the people who don't have wealth and they just had high incomes and they were new to the game, they cash out. They cash out. So the reason why I'm showing my original website is because we put the system together. And Nick, go to events, because we created a system called the 3 Steps to Success in 2007, 2008. I don't know if we can see that. I mean, is there any way we can blow it up a little bit? Or can you see where it says 3 Steps to Success? I want to tell you how we were able to position ourselves. And the first time, guys, we just got lucky. I'm not going to lie to you. We didn't know while we were building the 3 Steps to Success. Got assets. Basically, what I figured out is that through my relationship, by going to conferences, like Sam said, he's right now in Cabo with his beloved wife at a conference and also, enjoying the beautiful environment. I attended a lot of conferences. I attended Robert Kiyosaki conferences. I attended Carlton Sheets conferences, Russ Whitney. These are old heads, though, multi-millionaires. And then I attended a conference by a gentleman named Scott Shield, who taught me the commercial real estate business. And so throughout all of that, two things stood out every time. These guys own businesses first, and their businesses bought real estate. And if they got into the real estate business seriously, they made it a business. And then through Robert Kiyosaki, he taught me about cash flow quadrant, and we were able to meet his CPA, Diane Kennedy. And then his big boy that worked for the IRS showed us all of the tax laws. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. C.W. Allen. This book, he broke down all the 7 entity structures that you need to have. So the first go around, ladies and gentlemen, in the recession, not Y2K, but 9/11, I had already built 3 businesses. And I had already begun, Nick, with Clarence buying real estate, because we got into the real estate game in 2006. So now, as Sam was telling me he had to get off, I was telling the story. So here's the deal. So when I'm in Southfield, Michigan in 2007, and I get the guy tell me he's not going to send us any business, and I got into the mortgage bank business and became my own hard money lender and started loaning the money to my own clients and then refinanced them, I was able to make 3 profits off of one deal. What do you mean, DJ? Okay. Sam just said his first deal, he did hard money lending. Hard money lending is generally like 60, 90 days max. Exorbitant rates, because it's literally what it says. I'm going to loan you $20,000 to do a quick rehab. You do the rehab, and then you get it mortgaged. And then when you get it mortgaged and it builds up equity, you refinance it. So I was able to, through building this system called the 3 steps to success, which number 1, taught professionals and working class people how to actually create a business, not a hustle, actually find the right entity structure. And see, today it's all, oh man, you got to have an LLC. Hey man, there's 7 different entity structures that you can do real estate through and other types of investments. It's not always the LLC is the right one. You also can take entities and put them inside of entities. You can take an S Corp and take advantage of the tax laws and use an LLC attached to it and pay practically no taxes if you know what you're doing. Now, let me preface this. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you facts of what I've done. And again, I've always been a licensed professional. I had over 6 different securities licenses. I currently am still home, auto, and life licensed and always will be. I used to be a chartered senior financial planner. A chartered senior financial planner. I didn't say certified financial planner, which one time some idiot about 4 years ago said I claim I was a certified financial planner. But see, since that idiot didn't know the insurance industry, didn't know what a chartered senior financial planner was, he's an idiot. I used to be a certified estate advisor. So as a chartered senior financial planner, I handled seniors 55 to death financial planning. Thank you very much. As a certified estate advisor, I dealt with small business owners who had revenues from $500,000 to $5 million. In addition to that, I had securities license. You see how, in addition to that, I had ownership as a minority owner in a mortgage bank, not a mortgage broker, a mortgage bank. Because guess what? State banks and brokers can't do what mortgage bankers can do because they're chartered by the Federal Reserve, not the states. So I was able to go into different states and do deals that I didn't have to have certain registrations and actually get loans that a mortgage broker couldn't, especially in the hard money sector. And state by state, the laws change. But here's the moral to the story. So as we're rolling through, we're doing 10, 20, 30 houses a year. Prior to the summer of 2008, the houses in Detroit and Chicago, we would buy a FUBU, which means it's a messed up foreclosed property, like Sayam talked about, for about $20,000, $30,000. We would then raise capital as hard money lenders to rehab that property. And then we would put a traditional loan on it and pull our money out. Now, from 2006 to the second quarter of 2008, those homes in Detroit and Chicago, we would put a total of $50,000 in, Nick, and those homes would appraise at $100,000, $150,000. But at the beginning of the summer of 2008, the market crashed due to derivatives and swats. So that same house today, Friday, that was worth $150,000, Nick, Saturday, it was worth $25,000 or $40,000. But guess what? When we refinanced it, we had a mortgage on it, Nick, for like 80 or 100 grand. Did y'all hear me, ladies and gentlemen? So now we went from getting $500, $600 a month in passive income, but we got a refinance mortgage for 80 or 100,000 or $150,000 house. We are upside down, baby. We're drowning because derivatives and credit swaps. So how did we get out of that, Nick? Well, we took two pathways. One, we just let the properties go. That's what you do as an entrepreneur. Two, we sat down with the REO department because those toxic assets were on their ledger and they're not in the real estate business, so they had to pay the real estate taxes. So when we realized what those numbers to be to buy the properties back, Nick, we negotiated, hey, if this property is only worth $30,000 now, but you got me trapped in an $80,000 loan, but the government is going to allow you to write it off on your ledger, I need to be able to write it off on mine. So how are we going to do that? You're going to sell me that property back, and you're going to wipe out of my debt with a short sale. And now I'm going to buy that property for $30,000 cash. And now I'm going to still have that $600, $700 a month in positive cash flow. And now I own that property outright, short sale, boom. And now, because Clarence figured out that portion, I was in the financial side, we went to the races, baby. So 2009, 2010, 2011, we're doing multiple properties. We're buying homes for $5,000, $2,000, putting 10 in them. They're not worth more than 40, but we're still getting $800, $700, $1,000 a month. But now, Nick, we own them outright cash. So we start building that portfolio and blew that up. And I said conservatively, we were making 20, 30% return. Dude, we were making 40, 50, 60, 100% return. Better model. But in the course of doing that, our credit got damaged because we weren't going to pay for that upside. And we adapted. And we did that all through the 3 steps to success. Create a business, buy real estate, leverage the tax laws. Okay? So now, let's move forward to the pandemic. You can take that down, Nick. What happened in the pandemic? Okay, we know what happened. We accelerated staying at home, and we accelerated, the stock market. What happened? All the stocks took a massive hit in February and March of 2020. And what we were wise enough to do, ladies and gentlemen, we were already buying dividend stocks for the longest. So we went in and we bought valued stocks that were dividend and technology at pennies on the dollar. Literally stocks that were one day $100 a share, the next day, because the pandemic, were literally $20 a share. But we were able to read and study the annual reports that those companies were still highly profitable. So we bought up all of the stock that we could possibly buy. We also took advantage of the dropping in the interest rates because we actually went into deflation. And for the first time ever, the central bank gave money to the retail bank at cost. Do you guys remember this? At that time, before the pandemic, a paper loan on a regular house was about 5.5%. Then it dropped down to 3.75. Then it dropped down to 1.75. So guess what we did? We refinanced all of our properties down to 1.75, 2.25, pulled some money out, used the home equity line of credit, and went and bought more properties. And gobbled up high-valued stocks with index funds and dividends and technology stocks that were in the electric sector. And we began DJ the Money Coach online in April of 2020. Did we not, Nick? And during the course of the first 6 months, we were in the red temporarily, but we had the foundation because I was already DJ the Money Coach since 2010. So I'm excited because the two things, 2008, cash and credit. Got fortunate to understand that this was a buying move because the market's going down, but the wealthy are getting wealthier. And as you remember from 9/11, somebody had shorted stocks from across the pond and would have had billions of dollars. They made a movie called The Big Short, Too Big to Fail by Andy Sorkin. Go read the book, watch the movie. So now I've seen that video. So when 2008 hit, correction in the course. Now 2020, man, I'm excited because I done seen this video 3 times. And I know I have the foundation and the team to exponentially grow. And that's what we did, ladies and gentlemen. So we not only laid the foundation for DJ the Money Coach online, we got involved in a couple of different asset classes because, again, I had A paper and cash, baby. And people were selling and refinancing, and we bought up as much as we can. And that parlayed us to significant revenues in 24 months. Yes or no, Nick?
Yeah, yes, it did.
Nick saw it firsthand. And albeit we had a couple of younger other people like Nick came on board. They got nervous. They invested with us. They panicked. They jumped off the bus. But kudos to Nick and to Renee. They stayed on the bus. That first year, hey, man, we apparently looked like we were losing money. That was just operational cost. But will we do that next year, Nick? 2021, 2022, 2023.
Man, we went to five figures in revenue to 6 figures in revenue.
A year or a month?
A month.
Man, let them know, baby.
Yeah, a month.
Let them know.
Yeah.
And then God blessed us with the Zanzibar opportunity. How do you think we built a resort in Zanzibar if we didn't have cash and credit and know-how? See, there's a saying. They say, hey, the young person walks into the bar with a bunch of money, bragging. The old guy sits down at the bar and he gives them experience and he walks out with the cash. Did you hear me? So the young guy came in. That's these influencers. They're making a ton of money, but they have never been through a catastrophic event. Until that one happens on their shore, they're not going to know how to handle it. They're going to be like they call in Boiler Room, ninja rich. Go look at the movie. And we always say, if somebody tells you that they ain't never lost any money and they just been hitting home runs all the time, only one or two things are happening. They're lying most of the time, or they're so new into their business, they haven't had a setback, a correction. a pandemic, a 9/11, a Great Recession, a Y2K. But once you've been through that, we're battle tested. So when the market is down and the interest rates are up, just like Sam, we're still buying, baby. Because guess what we know? As interest rates rise, so does, rent and leases. But however, if that person's in the wrong loan, they got to get out of it. If they're in a commercial loan and new into it, or they got a, option arm loan, an interest-free loan, or a, all due on clause loan, and it happens to hit right now, and they didn't know that the tariffs were coming, that person now looking for a buyout. And guess what you got to have? Cash and credit, baby. And when you got the cash, and better yet, the business credit, interest-free, yada, yada, you can go in and rack up on a bunch of deals. And that's what we've been doing. So when we make the modification and adjustment, we see in this video, we get greedy, baby. We gobbling up everything we possibly can, because guess what? We know the market is going to correct itself. We know that these assets may have been depreciated for a short period of time. They're going to, bounce back. And even if they don't, guess what? We know the rents are going up. So just like I've told my oldest son, even though he's not a homeowner, I said, buy right now. Because here's what I know. If you live in an affluent neighborhood or working class or a regular, suburban community, the price of that house is going up. It's going to double in 10 years. So if you are playing the long game and you got cash and credit and you out here want to, be partying all the time, which nothing wrong, go grab yourself some assets. So what you're going to find out with Wealth Wednesdays and their free mastermind class next Wednesday, free, they're going to show you a portfolio in the 7 spheres of money, 7 different asset classes pertaining to real estate, hard money, all of those beautiful things that we have done on the regular in the 7 spheres of money. So you ought to jump in, hit that link, sign up, get rocking and rolling, because guess what? The wealthier are going to get even wealthier when these tariffs start locking in. See, I'm excited about them because people are going to be selling at a discount. And we got business credit and cash. And we got partners like Sam who has private lenders can loan millions of dollars. You see what I talked about in terms of access, network? We just talked about this. So again, guy walks into the bar, gal, whomever, young, successful, making a milli. The experience, Yoda sitting at the bar. He walks out with the money and the experience. The young person gets the experience. Now, you do have some young people who've been brought up the proper way, that they know how to play the game, because all it is a game, ladies and gentlemen. And we're excited. When there's corrections in the market, man, we get excited. Look at what happened to Bill Gates' wealth in the pandemic. Elon Musk's wealth in the pandemic. Zuckerberg, they went through the roof. Yep, they had a short market correction, but if you go back 2020, 2019, look what their net worth was then. I think the richest man in the world was net worth was like 90 billion or 100 billion. Now it's like 300, 400 billion in a 5-year window of time. The same thing's going to happen with these tariffs. You're either going to be on the wrong side as a consumer, or you're going to be on the cash flow quadrant side, on the right side as a business or a sophisticated investor. And the only way for you to get there is to plug in to the free masterclass on Wealth Wednesday. Nick, pull that up again, and we're going to go to the break just to give them an idea of what we're talking about. These are our new partners. We're excited, man. We're excited. The good is getting gooder. So we have a link that you can join, get that information. We've seen them take people in this 5-day wealth challenge and literally in less than 30 days, brand new, make money through real estate, bringing people together. They had a lady who had capital, but she didn't have good credit. They found a guy who had good credit, put them together, did everything for them. Boom, exponential growth. They found a lady that had a property but didn't have any cash, and then found another guy who had a retirement fund that he forgot he had, tapped into that, put it together, boom, $40,000, $50,000 profit in like 30, 40 days. And see, here's the thing. This ain't happen chance. You don't do 1,400 deals and do revenues of 250 million plus by accident, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Sam said he worked at Goldman Sachs. The same people who used to advise the president and the reserve, if y'all remember. Same people that got super wealthy during the pandemic. Go look it up. So he's bringing that to the table. Stacey Tisdale worked on Wall Street, had her own show on Money Watch, partnered with Angela Yee from the Breakfast Club, and she was on the Breakfast Club about 11 years ago and told people about Acorn, and 4 million people got involved with the Acorn program and they made nothing. But we don't do that anymore. So one thing that we're giving you in the 7 spheres of money, access, baby. This is exclusive access. So if I had the choice between the two to get wealthy, would I want to be smart or would I want to have a high net worth access to get in the room with the people? Because even the dumb people make a lot of money by knowing the right smart people with success. People do business with people whom they like. And then people do business with people who have a skill set that nobody has, high in demand, like AI, like electric cars, bikes, and only few people can do that. Biotics, robotics. Those people get paid a king's ransom. So if you were looking for a way to, hedge what's going on in the economy and get access to the top 1% income and wealth earners, it's this Wednesday, April 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All you got to do is hit the link. It's absolutely free. A gift from DJ the Money Coach and Nick Westbrooks from Family Finance Friday to honor Financial Literacy Month in April nationwide, and also give honor to my two mentors, especially Harold S. Davis Jr., who without him investing in my company in 2001 to get me off the ground, I wouldn't be here. So they said, you can either be part of the problem or you can be part of the solution. Let's be part of the solution. So we're going to wrap this thing up and come back after this break. You're watching Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach. Today's show is Financial Literacy Month. We're going to do a 5-day wealth challenge with Stacey Tisdale and Sayam Ibrahim. They're going to start it off with a free masterclass Wednesday, April 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central. And we're going to be right back after these words from our sponsors, whom are us, for you, with us. We'll be right back.
Have you heard of the Pom Pom Suites at the Soul in Zanzibar? If not, let me put you on. It's located inside a dreamy residential resort right in the heart of Paje, close to all the best shops and restaurants. I spent 5 days and 4 nights and the vibe was immaculate. The property is lush, tropical, and so peaceful. And the lagoon-style pool, OMG, absolutely obsessed.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth. It's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo. All right, and we're back, and I had some technical issues in the middle of that that first commercial there, and for some reason my camera blacked out, so you all can hear me though. But we're back on Family Finance Friday with DJ the Money Coach and Nick Westbrooks, and we're wrapping up. So go ahead, DJ, and close us out as I'm getting myself back on the screen.
Absolutely, because guess what, guys? As I was talking about being an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, you always have to have the ability to adapt, modify, and make course corrections and not panic. Okay? There's a difference between an urgency and emergency. If the video all of a sudden stalls, so what? Keep it moving. This ain't our first rodeo. Okay? But in order for you to get to the next level, you have to apply now. See, just like Sam said, hey, don't wait for the perfect interest rate. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity, because there's no such thing. Perfect is the enemy of great. Let me say that again. Perfect is the enemy of great. In order to make it through and have a sustainable business, you have to keep moving forward. If water stays still for a period of time, it generates bacteria and becomes toxic. But keep moving forward. Little steps at a time will get you to the big ocean. And that's what we want to provide for you. We want to teach you how to fish. There's nobody in their right mind, him or her, that doesn't need access, doesn't need coaching. If you want to stay at the top of your game, why do they have coaches, general managers on sports teams? If you're the best player in whatever sport, what do you need a coach for? You need to have somebody that gives you perspective. You need to have somebody that has experience. Even though you may be the best athlete, you may not be well experienced. So if you want to stay ahead of the game, you got to invest in yourself. I always tell people 2 to 5 years to build a strong, residual, financially independent business. The first year, what do I tell them, Nick? What do you do the first year you get involved in a business?
That's the learning phase.
The learning phase. And that means invest and learn. Go to conferences. Go to summits. Get coaching. What happens in the second year when you're doing that, Nick?
The second year, that's when you're starting to put the you create your plan and your system, you start working the plan, but that might be also the time where you make your mistakes.
So you're starting to knock on doors, shoot DMs, start contacting people about doing new business. Because you got to get what? Experience. And you win some, you learn some. So that second year, you're going out and talking to everybody about your business. You're putting on all platforms and you are a newbie. And through the course of doing that, you're going to line some good deals. You're going to gain some experience. You're going to see some things that you don't need to do again, but you're also going to see some things that you should keep doing and doing faster and sooner and harder and stronger. So the first year, I'm investing in myself, research and development, as I'm getting my business off the ground. The second year, I'm knocking on all doors, communicating with everybody. I need to get ABs. I need to get 1,000 at-bats. I need to shoot 1,000,000 free throws. I need to do a lot of studying, taking a lot of exams. Now that you've gone through that second full year, you should now start experience what is the word I'm looking for? Exponential results. Because the third year, That's if you're doing everything right. That doesn't mean, oh, I've been in business, put a shingle up and ain't done nothing in the third year, I should get exponential growth. I'm talking about you're running the 4x4. So in the third year, you should become the resident expert or on your way because you've got 1,000 at-bats. You got 1,000,000 no's, and you've gotten a couple of real big yeses that gave you significant business and different experience in different industries in your niche that now you understand it and now you can teach it to other people. And now it's not about who you know, it's who knows you, and they invite you to be a guest speaker on their platform. And now they pay you for your time and your expertise. And in addition to that, you have services that can get their people to the next level. So from the third year to the fifth year, you have become the expert in the room. And by the time the fifth year, you have a PhD. Pile higher and deeper in money. You have an MBA, a massive bank account. But if you are 3-4 years in and you kept stopping and starting, you're starting from day one over. Do you understand me? I've had people, oh, DJ, I'm in my third year. Yeah, but you shut your business down or put it on pause for like 3 months. So when you put it on pause, it's just like red light, green light. You got to go back to kindergarten. See, people get that confused. They start getting upset. But you have to consistently work it. What do I mean by that? Since we pivot and we invested tons of money, tons of resources into Zanzibar, Tanzania, we got away from DJ the Money Coach. That got us the resources to do Zanzibar. So we have to start back, but we got a platform. And then I, as the founder CEO, I had no problem rolling up my sleeves again and making sales calls. See, most of you, when things get tough, you don't want to do that dirty work anymore. But that's the difference between somebody sustainable as an entrepreneur and somebody who's a wannapreneur. That's the difference between somebody who actually has a corporate structure and just a self-employed situation. And when I say self-employed, most of these people on these platforms making $100, $200 million a year, but they don't have the proper corporate structure. They don't have a CIO. They don't have a CFO. They don't have a chief marketing officer. They have AI doing everything, and when there's a hiccup, they don't know what to do. Or, man, that's beneath me. So as I was talking about how I met Stacey Tisdale and Sayam through a sliver, I rolled up my sleeves. Yep, 23 years in business, and I got on IG and I started DMing people at my level and above to say, hey, I'm DJ the Money Coach. I do corporate this, and I have a beautiful business residential resort in Zanzibar, and I'm looking for some people at your level to do a collaborative with. Now, typically at my level, you hand that off to your virtual assistant, your AI, or entry-level salesperson, because that was just to engage them. That was not to do a meeting right with them. That was to engage them. But since I know it's more effective coming from me, ladies and gentlemen, I made 100 calls per day, DMs and emails since the second week of December. And in the course of 90 days, we were able to find great people to do business with because I had no fear of rolling up my sleeves and recalibrating our business. Did y'all hear me? And now, because I knew what to expect, and I told the team, hey, Nick, in the course of building DJ the Money Coach on YouTube, hasn't it been a few times where we took a major dip and I said, hey, don't panic, guys. Mm-hmm. We're going to get back up to the peak of the summit.
Yep, for sure. Mm-hmm, absolutely. Yep, and you were right. We took a temporary dip and we came right back up.
And did we come back stronger or weaker?
Definitely stronger.
Experience, ladies and gentlemen. Experience. So now we just have to make sure we solidify, because again, Zanzibar is a new enterprise for me. I've invested in developments. I've financed, but I've never been a developer myself. I'm a developer now, wearing a new hat, a legacy play. So of course, there's going to be a learning curve. No problem. I welcome it because guess what? Once you expand and stretch yourself, you can never go back to the original form. So guess what? I also know the right professionals and the right master is going to show up for me. There he is right there, Sayam, Stacey Tisdale. Albeit, I'm older than him by a decade at least. But I'm not ego where I'm there's no way I'm going to take, mentorship and help from somebody a decade younger than me. Shh, man, get out of here. I'm calling him, texting him every day. Ask him. 1,400 deals. I've not done 1,400 deals. I haven't done $250 million of real estate deals. Oh, I've done, 7, 8 figures, but I ain't done 9. How do I get to 9? Get around somebody that's done 9. There's a tip. There's a tip. Those are bars. You want to make $100,000 a year, you haven't made it? Get around somebody that's made $100,000, that's done it, and do exactly what they do principally. You want to make $5,000 a month? Get around somebody that makes $5,000 a month. Here's what my mother or my father told me. Hey, I can always tell you exactly where you're going to go based on the 5 people you hang around with, be it morally or financially. So don't always be the smartest person in your circle, and don't be the wealthiest person in your circle. Keep elevating. And that's exactly what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. So we're bringing you excitedly Family Finance Friday, the last Friday of the Financial Literacy Month. And this is our 5th year anniversary. Our anniversary this past Sunday, April 20th. Man, great things happen in the 5th year. Here's another thing. If you think your business is stagnated, but you're doing everything the right way, give it time for those seeds to grow. Give it time for those seeds to grow. Because see, a lot of times, especially in school, you're studying a subject and it's just not resonating with you. You're not comprehending it, but you're doing everything the instructor tells you, everything that your teacher, Nick, tells you to do. And you keep doing. And in some way, amazingly, I never forget this, Nick. I remember taking college statistics. In college, I couldn't figure none of that stuff out. I was barely getting a D in a joint. Midterm came, I'm studying. Man, all of a sudden, boom! All of a sudden, it was like I took a pill and I knew everything. Same thing with trigonometry in high school. But the difference was, ladies and gentlemen, my brain was being trained every day. The game was too fast for me, but the fact that I stayed consistent, kept grinding, kept reading, kept being determined, God blessed me. See, enthusiasm means God within. As long as you got a dream and you're willing to do the work and it's from God, he will bless you on the pathway. I can guarantee you that. If you're doing things legally, ethically, and morally sound, and you put the work in and you follow the plan, I have not met anybody that's done the financial principles and plugged into the right system that they didn't yield success. But see, here's the problem. We want it in a nanosecond. That's the problem with these mediums, because everybody on these platforms, except for maybe like less than 1%, to get on and make a whole bunch of money real quick, they take 2 to 5 years of grinding. Or they already had a network and they plug their network, people and resources, into a new business, people and resources, and it exploded up. What do I mean by that? If you have a network and you have 200,000 subscribers and they trust you and they follow you on your platforms, and then all of a sudden an insurance company comes up to you and say, hey, Nick, hey, why don't you get in the insurance business, get your license, and we write insurance policies and you recruit agents. Only reason why they're coming to you, Nick, because you got 200,000 subscribers that have been following you for 5 years. And you got an email list of 20,000 that have been buying stuff from you for 5 years. Did y'all hear what I just said? So what I know as the insurance company, the security company, the app company, you got 20,000 people for 5 years that's consistently bought something from you. I know immediately if I introduce you to this new product and I endorse it, you're coming with me. Now that person looks like overnight they made $1 million, but you did not read the tea leaves. And if they're not legitimately telling you the facts, you think that they're special. And that's when the deception comes in. So when you see somebody all of a sudden came out of nowhere, blew up, make $1 million, check behind the scenes. Check their networks. Check their access. Check their expertise. Because they're not telling you the truth if they don't explain everything to you, how they grew so fast. But that's not the norm. For the norm, it's 2 to 5 years of putting that work in. Let's put these 4x4 up here and we're going to get out. We're going to get out of here, Nick. So here's the 4x4 to the system. So here's the 4x4. Number 1, 4 dirty little words. Discipline. If you don't discipline yourself, somebody else will. The truth to wealth is discipline. Number 2, accountability. Make yourself accountable to someone other than yourself. God first, then a solid steward to apprenticeship you and hold you accountable to everything. Number 3, plug into a proven system of success. To me, what's a proven system of success? It's got to be around for at least 5 to 7 years. It's got to have licensed professionals. And for me, you most likely got to have done business with corporate America. I don't mean, oh, I got a bunch of influencers and I made $1 million from people like me. I mean that if I'm doing what I do so well, Chase Bank says, hey, DJ, can you write a curriculum for us for 358 people? The Montgomery Regional Airport says, hey, can you do the open enrollments from my CEO to my janitor for our entire airport in Montgomery, Alabama? Because, see, I'm not impressed if I got 10,000 nicks who are pedestrians in finance, but they bought my starter kit. That's cool. I'm going to make a lot of money, but I know that there was no regulatory requirements for me to get Nick's business other than me having a great personality and know a little something more than he knows. But to do business with the Montgomery Regional Airport, I got to go through security, background check, 7 degree deep. Chase Bank, I got to go through security, background check. To have a securities license, I got to be held accountable to the Security Exchange Commission, FINRA. Do you follow me? So I differentiate between the two. I'd rather take somebody who's making $200,000 working with those corporations than somebody making $1 million doing business to a consumer. So now after that, I got to put my head down and go to work. Not 2 to 5 days, not 2 to 5 weeks, not 2 to 5 months, 2 to 5 years doing everything you're supposed to do night in and night out. Did you hear me? And don't count the days. Do the work. Count the work. Did I do the 4 dirty little words every day? Like eating right, working out. Because if you've done those, you're going to have success. Now, I got to incorporate some soft skills. How do I become a CEO? I got to do the 4 Ps. What are the 4 Ps? First P, professionalism. Ultimate professional. I literally called Sam at about 5:30 p.m. Our show happens at 6:30 Central. I said, hey, man, this is super last minute. I meant to tell you about this when we talked on Monday and Tuesday. I want you to come on the show to talk about the 5-day wealth challenge and the free masterclass. And he didn't tell me he was in, because if he had told me he was in Cabo with his wife, I would have said, man, I apologize, forget about it. But guess what? To his credit, he knew if I'm calling him, it was important. And he asked the blessing of his wife. Y'all get that on the way home. A Proverbs 31 woman. So, and I said, hey, he said I could be on this time. He shows up in the queue 10, 20 minutes ahead of time waiting to go live. So even though I was talking, saw him, I said, nope, I know this man's time is valuable. I cut off what I'm doing, get into it. That's professionalism. Speak the right English. I don't mean grammatically, literally, but I mean whatever industry you're in, speak the jargon of the industry. Wear the right clothes. Number 2, persistence. Water over time erodes anything that it rolls over. Did y'all hear me? The Grand Canyon was created because water ran through it for thousands of years. So persistently follow your plan to the letter. Number 3, this is where the chaff comes from the wheat. The men separate themselves from the boys, and the girls get separated from the women. Perseverance. See, in those catastrophic 5 things that happened, this being the 5th, we had to persevere and have intestinal fortitude, believe in the work, believe in the market, believe in the foundation, and expect a rainbow to come out of a storm. And then number 4, when you have a sliver to meet a Sayam or a Stacey Tisdale, when the lights are the brightest, it's playoff basketball, you got to perform, baby. You can't be nervous. You can't act like it's your first time at the rodeo. When you combine these 4x4 and have access and put the work in, God will bless you indefinitely. And then the most important thing that you have to do, you have to go from your testimony of struggle to your testimony of success, but then you got to pay it forward and give a hand up and not a handout and start focusing on becoming significant and create your own legacy. So Maslow says only about 1 or 2% of people achieve self-actualization on the planet. And those are the people who become selfless instead of selfish. And they actually, everything they're about is helping and giving back. And like Sayam said, he said, hey, would you want to work at making a living, or would you want to live? He said, would you want to live at work, or would you want to work at life? If you can take care of the money situation, you can work at life and have the best life you ever had, even if you only make as little as $8,333 a month. But if you're totally debt-free, your house paid for, your car paid for, and your recurring expenses only like $5,000, you are free, baby. You're financially independent. Then if you want to get wealthy, which is what this program is going to tell you about in the masterclass on Wednesday, you get 2x of your recurring expenses through passive income because you created a business. You took that business, you bought real estate, and you leveraged the tax laws, and you had access to the person that got a comma to the left further than yours. You're never going to have to worry about money a day in your life. So I've said all I got to say. I hope that you have taken advantage. Nick is going to have in the description the links. You got to tap into it. I'm telling you. And also make sure women plug into our Bet on Black, the women, the family, and the legacy. That's going to come on at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time on April 30th as well. And you're going to meet some amazing Black professional women from 4 different generations to give you the real and help you get to the next level with God, family, and business. On behalf of Nick Westbrooks, my amazing nucleus of our DJ the Money Coach system, you're watching Family Finance Friday. Today's episode is to commemorate Financial Literacy Month, which is April, and it's the last Friday of the month, and we want to celebrate my 2 stewards who enable me to be here to share with you. And we want you to plug into the 5-day wealth challenge with Stacey Tisdale and Sayam Ibrahim. First things first, go to the free masterclass on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central. Nick, tell them what we always wish them. And we're going to be out of here. And Nick's going to run some spots.
Yes, we always wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that has plenty of money, peace of mind. And we want you to come join us on the beaches of the world. And your beach doesn't have to be next to sand or water. It doesn't have to be Zanzibar. Your beach is a state of mind where you find peace and tranquility internally. So thank you for watching Family Finance Friday. We'll catch you on Wednesday and again on Friday. Until then, take care.
Now, we just wanted to thank DJ and just give our, testimonial on, his great work and what he's shown to us. We've spoken with him maybe a few times, and he's already saved us, tens of thousands of dollars just by some wisdom that we didn't know. We're a young couple, and we haven't been exposed to that kind of stuff. What do you think?
He's human. I like that effect. That he can kind of really be honest with us and tell us his mistakes that he made in the past so that we don't have to make those same mistakes, and just being, brutally honest in a good way. But yeah, I really appreciate how he answers all of our questions. He takes his time with our meetings and just really gives us those nuggets of wisdom, like my husband said.
Yeah, I think as Black people, we don't necessarily sometimes we don't understand the value that we do have, and we also we've just been kind of told one way to get to wealth, to make wealth. And what he has is not just his own knowledge, but a community of people and a network of people that we're excited to join that family and to be a part of and grow. And I like the fact that he was very confident in us with what we were doing. He didn't say, "Okay, hey man, to do this and get here where you all want to be, like you need to make." You need to have
X
a job.
Yeah,
you have to have a job. Yeah. A job that makes $200,000 a year. It's like no.
He met us where we are right now, and it's taking us to where we want to go based on what we have and what skills we have.
Exactly. So just for him to have that confidence in us, just gives, especially in these times, gives us a lot of confidence in ourselves. We're so excited, and again, so appreciative for DJ, for Melvin, just for the entire team. And we look forward to continue working. So I appreciate that. I would recommend his services to anyone.
Yes, this is for Dale Duransburg, very close friend of mine, confidant. I met Dale over 2 decades ago. Dale has been a man of integrity, family man that loves his family, loves his community. Has always done the right thing, integrity impeccable. I've been in workshops with Dale where he's had 300, 400, 500 people. People love him because of his integrity. And so I would love to let people know that this is my good friend. I consider him family because he's helped my family. He's helped my in-laws. He's helped a lot of octogenarians who are well into their 80s that Dale has helped them retire comfortably. So my good friend Dale Duransburg, man of integrity, not many like him, family man, loves his community. Thank you.